All right, we're about to unlock a reading strategy that's super simple, but also incredibly powerful. And you know what? It's a habit you probably already have. We're just going to turn it into a focused skill that can completely change how you absorb information.
You know that feeling, right? Your eyes have scanned every single word top to bottom, but the second you get to the end of the page, your mind is just blank. You have absolutely no idea what you just read. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things about reading.
Well, that whole frustrating experience, it actually has a name. It's called passive reading. It's what happens when your brain is basically switched off, just letting the words wash over it. But here's the good news. There is a much, much better way to do it, an active way.
So first up, let's really dig into this empty reading problem. What's actually happening when our minds go blank like that, and what's the alternative?
Okay, so a passive reader just kind of waits for the information to stick. But an active reader, well, they're more like a detective. They're on the hunt for clues, they're asking questions, they're actually engaging with the text. Our goal? To become that detective.
So what is this big secret that active readers have? It's a strategy that turns reading from a passive chore into an active investigation. And it all boils down to one simple action.
And here it is, predicting. So what is it? It's simply the process of using clues from the text itself and from your own life experience to make educated guesses about what's just around the corner. It's not magic, it's just a mental warm-up that gets your brain ready to learn.
Just think about the last really great story you read. You were constantly wondering what was going to happen next, weren't you? You were asking these exact questions. That's predicting in its most natural state. It's the engine of curiosity that just pulls you through a story and makes the whole experience way deeper.
In fact, you already do this, I guarantee it. When you pick up a book, what do? You check the title, you read the summary on the back, maybe you flip through a few pages. This whole ritual is actually the first stage of predicting. You're gathering clues to build an expectation before you even read the first sentence.
Okay, so we know it works for stories, but what about nonfiction? This is where predicting really goes from being just a simple pleasure to a super powerful technique for learning and studying.
And there are two key reasons this is such a game changer for your understanding and your memory.
First off, curiosity. When you make a guess about what a chapter is going to cover, you create this little bit of suspense for yourself. You suddenly have a personal stake in it. You actually want to keep reading to find out if you were right. And that instantly makes learning more engaging and, honestly, a lot more fun.
And the second thing is pre-understanding. Predicting gives your brain a kind of mental map of the territory you're about to explore. So when you have that framework already in place, new and complex information has something to stick to. It's just easier to follow the author's logic and, maybe most importantly, way easier to remember it later.
Okay, so that's the why. But what about the how? Like, what specific questions should you be asking yourself before you dive into a textbook chapter or some dense article?
Here are 3 great questions to start with. First, just based on the title and the headers, ask yourself, what is this going to be about? Second, check in with what you already know. What do I know about this topic? This just activates your existing knowledge. And finally, is there something I specifically want to know? This gives your reading a really clear purpose.
Now, predicting isn't just for learning. It's also a critical defense. Think about all those persuasive texts out there, like opinion pieces or social media posts. The author isn't just trying to inform you, they're trying to influence you.
Yeah, these texts have an agenda. They want to change how you think. So you really can't approach them passively. You have to be prepared to read with a critical eye, and predicting, that's your first line of defense.
So, how do you do it? How do you arm yourself before you engage with an argument that's been specifically crafted to sway your opinion?
Here's your toolkit. Before you even get into the weeds of the argument, try to predict the author's main opinion. Then think about the source. Who wrote this? Do they represent a specific company or political party? Having that context makes it so much easier to spot a flawed argument or to notice what crucial facts might have been, well, conveniently left out.
So when you put all of this together, you've basically unlocked a new reading power. It's a flexible skill that you can adapt to any text that comes your way. And here's the whole strategy in one neat little package. For stories, you predict what's next to deepen the experience. For factual text, you predict what you'll learn to help you understand and remember it. And for persuasive texts, you predict the author's opinion so you can read critically. See? It's the same core skill, just with 3 different, really powerful outcomes.
Now, this is absolutely crucial. This isn't a one-and-done thing.
An active reader predicts before they start reading, and then they continue to predict while they're reading. Pause at a new chapter and ask, okay, what's this part going to be about? It's a continuous, dynamic process.
So I'll leave you with this question. The very next text you open, whether it's an email, a news article, or the next chapter in a book, what's the first thing you're going to predict?